Let's see. Gotta make sure we're live. Hi, Shelly. I don't see that I'm live on here, but I probably just gotta refresh real quick. Yep, of course. Can you hear me? Let's see. Wait, what? It says I'm live, but it's not showing I'm live. What's going on? Let's see. There we go. I can hear us now. There we go. All right. Hello again, Shelly. Shelly, right? Shelly Ingle. There it is. Sounds rusty today, but that's okay. So, I got one person right now, which is just you, Shelly. So, Shelly, let me know what you would like to talk about. What should we start out with? We're going to start out with Kaiju number 8 first, really quick, because the chapter is super fire. But since you're the only one in here right now, it's only fair to ask you what you would like to talk about. But Shelly, I have no idea where the others are. People don't rock with me all that heavy, so sometimes these streams are not going to be lit, like they have been the past 2 times. So sometimes it's just going to be a small room, and that's all right. It'll be up on the VOD anyway, so anyone can watch it anytime. But I like to do these live just in case people want to talk to me, which is not usually the norm. People don't usually talk to me. So, again, Shelly, put what you want to talk about in there. I know you've been trying to, watch some of the videos. I've been seeing some of your comments, so I'd like to be able to answer any questions you might have or see what kind of input that you have. Let's see. What's a good song? Oh my goodness. You guys hear that buzzing? Of course I mess up at the end. Alright. Well, I'm not getting any suggestions from Shelly, so I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about Kaiju number 8 for right now, and then we're going to hop into Black Clover. Because these are the best series in Jump by far, and not enough people are reading Kaiju number 8, so I've got to definitely... I definitely got to make more content on this channel for this series now that it's really picking up. So, here, I just wanted, this is the ABCs of how Peak is written every single Thursday by Matsumoto Naoya, okay? Bro, this is the first thing you see. After 14 days on break, this is the very first thing that you see. And it's fire. So, for those of you guys that don't know, this is Kaiju number 10. And Kaiju number 10, so far, out of all the Kaiju that have attacked, this one has had the highest fortitude. What that means, it is much harder to kill than Kaiju. So, it's based on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So, this guy just said in this chapter, I believe I have a post for this, because I almost post every single page. We'll get into it, because I posted this in order. So, again, the ABCs. This is the first thing you see is Hoshina with the giant head of Kaiju number 10 behind him, and they just had a talk. And they came to an agreement last chapter that Hoshina could wear him as weaponry because he has an urge to fight more kaiju like him. He wants to fight strong kaiju. So it's a weird kind of dynamic that happened. It was completely unexpected. It came out of left field. So now the very next page is just, a couple of randos talking. They obviously work within like the defense force, and they're talking about Hoshina and his squad coming to visit the defense force that Isao used to run, the one that Gen Narumi's in. And so they're like, things might get out of hand. So like, we don't even know these people on screen right now, but this is how Naoya is so good at hyping people up with anywhere between 1 and 4 panels. He's going to have the whole situation hyped to all hell. He introduces characters like this. When Gen Narumi came into the series, it literally only took maybe 2 panels for us to be completely invested in him. Naoya knows how to write this. So this is the second thing you see. And it's already about to be lit, because they're already saying, Hoshina's coming. Like, there goes the neighborhood. Like, shit's about to go down. And so then the next thing we have is the next commander is saying that there's essentially turf wars between the 2 defense forces. The one that Hoshina is the vice captain for, and the one that Narumi is the captain for. And he's saying right here that they're headbutting. And so now like there's a big like rivalry, and it's super dope. Now, this was the panel. Like, for me, this was the spread of the week, because this was so dope. Look at just the imagery. Everyone's posted up looking as cool as they need to be, as tough as they need to be. Then you just have the 2 goats, Narumi and Hoshina. Like, since the beginning, since we met Hoshina, and then when we got introduced to Narumi, at least me, I was thinking, these 2 are so much alike, I wonder how they would mesh. And I kind of had a feeling that they wouldn't really mesh well, but I didn't think it was like, it went as deep as like turf wars. Like, these guys it's legit. I like the vibe, how they're all comrades, they all fight for the same side. It's just that it's more of like if you have ever been in like fraternity or something, you start having like fraternity wars. Like, you guys are friendly, but like, you still want to be the best within those ranks. So I really love the vibe, and everyone has every reason to want to get better, because we know that Hoshina wants to be by Mina's side indefinitely as someone that she can rely on, while Narumi is almost reliant on himself and not so much another person, but we did get to see that Isao took him under his wing. So his source of motivation is to bring down Kaiju number 9 to avenge Isao. And I've already pointed out this difference when Narumi was introduced, but it's really cool, and I think they mention it slightly in this chapter, where Hoshina is, the smaller the Kaiju, the better of a chance at killing that Kaiju is. Like, the more dangerous he becomes. But for Narumi, it's the very opposite, where the bigger the Kaiju, the better of a chance he has at killing that Kaiju. And that was the very first thing that we saw from Narumi. So it's 2 very contrasting fighting styles, but very similar personalities. However, Narumi is slightly more immature, but we do see a lot of potential out of him. So this was a great squad shot. Super hype, loved it. And then he had Bacasta trying to troll me, saying that I'm gassing mid. Kaiju number 8 is not mid. All right. So the attempt was made and it failed. But this is Kaiju number 8, Vogel. So I just love, see, this is what I mean. Narumi is a little more immature than Hoshina is. Not to say that Hoshina is mature, because like it is here, he just has a different way of displaying his immaturity, just kind of by lording over Narumi and taking advantage of how blatantly immature he is, how outwardly immature. So I love it. And Hoshina even expresses that the higher ups kind of favor Hoshina, and his poise, I think, is why he's favored more so. But they do acknowledge Narumi's strength, which is awesome. Yeah, and this is the part where they talk about he calls Hoshina out on slaying miniature-sized kaiju, um, and and Hoshina points out that he's not as good as he thinks he is. But what's up, John? Good to see you, buddy. Um, just a little back and forth. And this is the only series that's really going to have you hyped just over basic dialogue, just getting to know the characters. There wasn't really any action in this whatsoever, and I stayed pumped up this entire time. But this is where they're like in the room, they're having the meeting, so it's all captains except for Hoshina. And the reason for that is because Hoshina is the epicenter of what's about to happen. Because Kaiju number 10 revealed again that he wants Hoshina to wear him his kaiju weaponry so that he has a chance to encounter strong kaiju and fight alongside Hoshina. He even said that he feels like him and Hoshina are alike. So we'll see how that plays out later. And we don't know the drawbacks that this is going to have, but we can probably assume that Kaiju number 10 has a potential to maybe take over Hoshina somehow. But he's at the forefront of this. But I love this because all the captains are coming down on Narumi for like being super unprofessional, and he's like yawning and everything, and everyone's calling him out on it. It was super dope. Now this is the part that was really important. So Hoshina revealed that Kaiju number 10 says that he's Kaiju number 9's prototype. Meaning that not only did Kaiju number 9 create number 10, but number 10 was just a prototype. And this was before Kaiju number 9 had any amps at all. Before he even got to Isao and the Kaiju number 2 weaponry, this is what he produced. So imagine, we'll get to it, but this is crazy. This was a prototype. That was a prototype. And he completely wreaked havoc. He pushed them to their limits. So now, this is the end spread. And this is also what I love about Kaiju number 9. They do spreads, like at least 2 spreads a chapter, it seems like, currently at least. Very consistent with this. But this is now Kaiju number 9 in Isao's body. And you can see he's still recovering from the previous battle. Like part of his leg is kind of falling off there. He's not completely regenerated. And it's because he had to clone himself so many times. He tried dipping out before fighting Kafka and Narumi, but they were holding the fort down a little too hard. So he had to kind of fight with them, and he's weakened from that battle for sure. But now he's creating more kaiju. Those are all cocoons around him in his lair. And if we look at these kaiju, so this is something that I've been speculating, is that we can take a look at this one. I was thinking like it would be really cool, also very smart, if these kaiju that he's trying to create are clones to replicate Kafka. Because Kafka so far is the most versatile kaiju that we have had in this series by far. Like by far. Not to say that Kaiju number 9 cannot adapt, but it's a different kind of adaptation. He has to fail in order to adapt. Where Kafka can adapt on the fly, and every single time there's something new coming from Kafka that aids the situation that he's in. So the best bet is to clone whatever Kafka's doing. So I hope that's what he's doing. And with the amp from embodying Isao and the Kaiju number 2 weaponry, he himself is going to be broken. So this is going to be a completely uphill battle. But I mean, that was all a Kaiju number 8. Like, this whole series just pops off so hard. I can't wait till it gets a bigger following, because I mean, it's going to be so fun to talk about this. And I love it. It's also one of those, like, you can chill and read this series and not be so concerned with, like, what information you might be missing. Because honestly, there's not a ton of information. And we're still kind of diving into the meat of the story. So for right now, it's just hype. That's all it is. It's all hype. That's what I wanted to lead out this stream with. But let me get to the chat. I want to see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Shelly, it reminds you of Ghoul Investigator. Oh, from Tokyo Ghoul. You know what? Yeah, it kind of does. I can see that. And then Kino, what's up, buddy? Hoshino reminds you of Gin. Yeah, he does. He looks like Gin, and he's kind of got the same vibe too. I don't picture Hoshino as a traitor, though. I think he's not really a traitor, like a double agent, if you will. But I mean, he's kind of going that route, allowing Kaiju number 10 to kind of call that shot. So who knows? He could be a really interesting. He is an interesting character, but he could be really interesting later on. Let's see. Yeah, Shell, it is epic, honestly. Once this is animated, I honestly do not see anyone like trying to compare fights to Kaiju number 8, because these fights just in the manga have been so much gas. I've not been put off by one single moment in one of these fights. I haven't been put off by one single chapter, to be honest with you. So yes, this is the series. So Kafka's like Eren and how adaptive he can be. I mean, he can't see the future, as far as we know. Like, he doesn't have an ability to see into the future. But yeah, he's widely adaptable. But I also don't think Kafka himself is smart enough to pull off anything that Eren did. Not yet, at least. How long do I think the story's going to go? Dude, I hope this is like a forever series right now. Like, I'm living the dream reading this series right now. Every manga series has that one character that has a... Yeah, they do. And those are usually the hardest characters. Kaiju number 8 sounds better than Dragon Tokyo Nights? I've never heard of that series, actually. Is that on Jump? Maybe I'll look into it. And maybe I'll recommend it to Rax, because it has dragons, and he loves dragons. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about Kaiju number 8 really quick, because it was a really dope chapter, and some really cool stuff is happening. And, like I said, no action at all in this, and it was still extremely exciting to read. So, Kaiju number 8 is up there, already, like, top 3 favorite series of all time, within just below 60 chapters. Crazy. Also, yeah, the drip. I love these jackets. I would actually wear one of these jackets. It looks comfortable and it looks cool. So that's the thing. Okay, so now on to Black Clover. I'm going to give you guys just a second to let me know what you would like to talk about from this, from these leaks, because a lot of stuff went down, and I'm very excited to talk about all of it. Oh yeah, Kino. If Kaiju number 8 gets like the right studio, it's game over. It's just game over. All right, John. You said so. Yuno is an angel now. So or is Viz mistranslating? I would like to wait for the spoilers for that specific thing. But if I had to speculate, we know that Saint Stage has purification qualities, so to call Yuno an angel in this sense is not crazy. He is the only one so far that Lucifero has seen pull off Spirit Dive or Saint Stage. So it could be looking at it from that lens, and I know it's the narration and not Lucifero saying that, but it could be that or something else entirely. But to me, I think it might be a slight mistranslation. I don't know if Tabata would just outright drop the word angel without something bigger happening prior to that. So yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see. Deshaun, you got to be new to this channel because absolutely there's angels. I actually just put out a video talking about how Asta and Liabe might be some key players as far as angels go. John, like I trust Night on translation. No, dude, honestly, and this is not to trash any accounts that that leak Black Clover, but when it comes to these really big, like what chapter was it? Where Gemelec is acknowledging Rill's spell, and they had translated it to this something to the effect of Gemelec saying, "This nobleman's magic is keeping everyone in the fight," essentially. And that's very specific because how would a Gemelec know that Rill is a noble? So that would have been like a really big telling to some events. But then when the officials came out, he said mansions and not noblemen at all. And it turns out, and the reason why that's such a big deal, just that one word, is because again, for a devil to have any knowledge of royals and nobles means that they had some involvement in the somewhat current world within the last 500 years. Now, when he says mansions, this is referring to like heavenly mansions, and I made a post about that. Cornelius Agrippa lays it out in his book what mansions are and how many of them there are, and how each one has a different purpose. So it was a very intentional word. So just one word can throw off an entire chapter. So I try really hard not to get too excited when I see words on these leaks, but then it's very hard because I really love Black Clover. But yeah, I'm going to wait on the translations for that one for sure. Let's see, what else are you guys saying? Dragon Tokyo Knights is a knockoff of Attack on Titan and Tokyo Ghoul. It's a fan-made... Oh, okay. Nice. Where do you find it? I feel like the leak's wording is weird. Yep. Deshaun, do we think we will see... I just answered that, didn't I? From you. Oh, am I just rereading some of the stuff that I already read? I am. Okay. Let's see. The last line is Angel versus Devil, at least what Knight said. Deshaun, I am... Okay, you are. Cool. Well, I'm glad you're here, dude. And I'm glad you're glad to be here. I also want to know about if we will see the fourth brother in the wheelchair whose face hasn't been shown yet, but we see in the flashbacks. I really don't know what Spot is going to plan with this fourth Zogratis. I had the theory that that brother is a manifestation of all three of them. That they all, for a lack of much, much, much better terms, imagined this fourth brother. And I lay out why I say that. And it has to do with Beelzebub specifically. But also just the psychological traits as far as Carl Jung puts it. That it's kind of like a collective consciousness that all three of them shared, which also makes sense in their situation. They're all kids in this war-torn society that riddled with classism and people who judge others based off of their magic attributes, as we saw with Xenon in the very beginning of his flashback. And not one of them showed any sort of empathy or sympathy for another sibling. In fact, Ivanica was antagonizing Xenon for being bullied. So they're not growing up in good situations, and there are no parents in sight, no other family to take care of them. It seems like it's just those three. So it would make a lot of sense for them to come up with this character that slowly becomes more physical because of maybe an amp from Beelzebub. Because remember, Beelzebub has to do with confusion and actually setting demons inside of the minds of mages to cause that confusion to whatever ends he needs them to be. So it's a really interesting topic. But I know that people think it's probably Julius. I don't see that. Like, I get why they say that, but I don't really think so. But another way you could take this is the fourth sibling is instead of the collective conscious, kind of reverse that theory, where it's one person. Like, he's a singular mage, and he's got some type of magic that he split off into three separate things. So he created from himself, and produced Dante, Vonica, and Xenon with their respective attributes. And somehow he's going to have some type of magic that combines all three, whatever that looks like. That's another way to take it. That's an interesting direction. I don't know how much I like that, to be honest. But there's a lot that goes into the triad. Even though I personally think Dante and Vonica were kind of basic, I think the concept of the triad is something that I don't think another mangaka has ever done, much less a writer in general has done. And it kind of goes back to what the actual base state of a human is. And I guess I'll tell you, how far in this are we? We're like, let me look at the thing real quick. We're like almost 30 minutes already. Okay, so I'll drop a slight spoiler like I usually do in these, because people will usually click off like way before the 30-minute mark. So I'm not really, apprehensive about dropping some nuggets from future videos. So Dante Alighieri from Dante's Inferno, or the writer of Dante's Inferno, and also the star of Dante's Inferno, and Cornelius Agrippa, along with some other writers that have to do with Gnosticism, have talked about what the base state of humans is. So what I mean is, what really is the cosmic role of a human? And so humans act as this intermediary force between the upper heavens and the lower hells. And the fact that Gnosticists believe that devils are the reason for our physical state, the common thought is that humans are in a natural state of possession at all times. Now, should one realize themselves, and this goes into the concept of the absolute self that I talked about in the last stream, that we see with Xenon and Beelzebub. Once they realize this, they kind of hit a fork in the road. They have a choice. They can either rid themselves of this possession and ascend to higher realms of spirituality, or they can enhance that possession state and actually work with these archons or devils. And it seems that if this is the case, the triad went the direction to amp up their possessed state as a human, and thus we get these markings on their faces, which is not something that we see with other devil possessed, namely Asta. So I found that very interesting. I'm gonna have more on that. There's so much I'm trying to get out to you guys, and I don't want to jumble it together because it'll get really confusing very fast. And I do also want to kind of beat Tabata to the punch. It's not a prediction if it comes after, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. Let me catch up with what you guys were saying. Josuke has the same rule, so I feel you on that. What rule? I'm sorry. I went on a whole rant and I lost track of what that might have been about. Waiting for the officials. I just know the Viz has messed up before. Yeah. Well, I mean, Viz has messed up and Beleaguers have messed up, so it's not just one or the other. So yeah, we kind of get tossed around a bit. Yeah, and sometimes you can't even trust the officials because they... Yeah, exactly. The whole grade 4... Yeah, dude, that was the biggest mess up. They can't... I really wonder how that happens. Like, I get it though, because I've studied Japanese, and I'll tell you right now, kanji is a whole different beast. There's so many characters, like in the umpteen thousands. I think it's 40,000 for Japan, and like 60,000 characters for China. So like, just imagine trying to keep up with what everything means, and it's a very interpretive language. So even I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you could see one character and there could be several different meanings, and you'll have to consider not only the context, but the character that comes after it, the character that may have come before it. It just takes a lot to actually understand, and yeah, it's definitely difficult. So I don't blame the leakers or Viz. I might blame Viz more than I would blame a leaker, for sure, because it should be more official than that, and it's happened very often. So hopefully they don't mess it up this time around. Let's see. Through the spoilers, I feel there are more broken bones than most of the series. I mean, I don't know. Deku has broken more bones than any of the casts in the entirety of the series that Black Clover has. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't like how Orihime, I mean Mimosa healing is just broken to the point. Well, she can't use magic anymore. She's tapped out. So I don't think she's going to be an issue anymore. All of our healing mages, with the exception of Charmy, who should be on the front lines right now, are down and out. And Sekirei doesn't really count. She's more like a mobile Twilight of Valhalla. She'll seal up your wounds, but it doesn't mean you're not still hurting. That's just what it is. Yes, actually, so Tashan, that's exactly what it is, and that's exactly how I laid it out in my video. It's exactly like Fight Club. I think that would be a cool idea, for sure. I don't think it's Julius either. I do think you could be right, because why call themselves a triad if there's 4? Right. I mean, just, yeah, basically. You caught on. You're catching on. For a new guy, you're smart as a whip. Let's go. Humans are a medium for many things, since they are either in heaven or hell, between divinity and damnation. So yeah, but I mean, it's less heaven, like I was saying. Take Dante's Inferno. Dante lays out, I believe he got to the 4th level of hell, or it might have been a little bit deeper than that. But anyway, he finds out that while humans live both in the physical realm on Earth and in hell. Now, the one living on Earth is the animal state of the soul. It's called the anima. I think in his story, there's only 2 parts to the soul. So the first part, the anima, which is just basic instincts, the one that eats, sleeps, and all the basic stuff that you need, is living here on Earth, but is naturally possessed by a devil already. While the rest of the soul, which is the Ruach, what gives us consciousness, is being tortured in hell for all eternity while that's happening. So it gets really interesting, but humans, for the most part, Gnosticism, are hellbound. Off rip. It doesn't matter. And I'll explain more into this video that's coming out between Friday and next Tuesday, about an endgame villain who is much closer than we think, and yeah, it's gonna be lit. Trust me. But yeah, it's gonna explain a lot on how humans have been damned since the beginning. So I mean, if she got Fenrir, he needs to be let loose. Exactly. And this is going to explain Charmy's wolf as well. It's going to explain Zeus. It's going to explain everything. It's pretty wild. Vogel, you think the 4th goddess is Morgan? It wouldn't fit the timeline if it was Morgan, because the what are the Zogratis family? Okay, you know what? We can't even say timeline, because the Zogratis don't have an age listed. They're question marks, and I've been speculating since I've seen that they're from a different time entirely, much older than this current timeline. So we'll definitely see. I just I don't see Morgan being the fourth Zogratis. I mean, let's look back at the fourth Zogratis real quick, Vogel, because that guy is giant. He's like Lucifuge's size. He's sitting in a chair and his hands are huge. And while sitting in this chair, while he is closer to us, the reader, than Vonica and Dante are, they're still standing right on the corners of his chair, like where the handles are. And he's almost as tall as them. So, like, this guy is humongous. And Morgan just isn't it. So, I would probably disagree with that, to be honest. But it's not impossible. We know that. It's a series about magic. So yeah. Tej, the thing that always interested me is the 3 highest ranking devils. Time, space, gravity can create almost anything like the world, so why are they devils and not... Well, that's the thing, Tej. So go back to some of these videos. The devils create the physical things. Like, that is the common thought. I had just ranted to WK, what was it, just yesterday or 2 days ago? How even in the Bible, there are 6 instances where it blatantly states that the earth does not belong to God or Jesus, but belongs to Satan. And in one of the later references, Satan tells Jesus that he will give him the entire planet Earth if Jesus bows down and worships him. And apparently no one ever questioned this, except for Gnostics, the Order of the Rosy Cross, and some other sects of Christianity have actually accepted that. But they are, oh man, I do not want to spoil this video because it really does answer a whole lot regarding why these guys, I mean, I've kind of gone over like how devils create the intrinsic laws of the universe that we abide by every day. We abide by time every day. We have to. Gravity, every single day. Space, we live in it. So these were the original gods. This is the point of the Qliphoth. Most of those, the beings within the Qliphoth were paganized gods that people actively worshipped. So, I mean, I hope that kind of answers your question, but it will definitely be answered before next Tuesday. Absolutely. And it's much deeper, much deeper. Could the fourth sibling be Behemoth, sitting down and lazy? Well, I mean, I don't think he'd be a straight up devil. But yeah, I don't know. Fine, if Morgan can't be the Zogratis, then it's Damnatio. Yeah, that's reasonable. I feel like it's much more reasonable than Morgan. I pointed this out a few times before, but I hope this is kind of the case. But so let's look at it this way. We can make a really strong case for Damnatio right now. I'll do it. Offer it. So I've made several videos talking about Damnatio, just his name. So for those of you that don't know, Damnatio is a reference to what's called Damnatio Memoriae, and that's a Greek term for nixing out parts of history, completely taking them out for whatever reason. But it's usually so that the upper class can still lord over peasants and commoners through their lack of education and knowledge. So, with that said, we see that Xenon's memory of the fourth sibling is obviously warped, where he can't even remember his face. And that can be Damnatio Memoriae, just in and of itself. Now, off of that, he's also got a mole on his chin. Now, we go back to the witch trials in Salem. If you had a mole, if you were caught moled up, you were automatically assumed to have been a witch and sentenced to death and burned at the stake. And Damnatio just has a very prevalent mole. I don't know why. It's just like perfectly placed to where like you have to acknowledge it. And I think it would be a cool thing to reference, a bigger part of American history while he's hitting all these other types of lore. I thought it was kind of interesting. That's all I'm going to say. But I think Damnatio can have a very strong case to be the fourth Socrates, for sure. Let's keep going. What's up, Trayvon? Jack, you talking about Jesus during the 40 days in the desert? Was he in the desert? No. If you're talking about when Satan tells him to praise him and he'll give him the earth, I believe he was in hell when he did that. That was the harrowing of hell. Damnatio doesn't fit the timeline. Yeah, I don't think Damnatio fits the timeline either. He's younger than Augustus. Damnatio looks like JoJo Star. Prove me wrong. I still have never watched anything JoJo Bizarre. It's just a very bizarre looking series to me. Man, you guys are going off. Let me try catching up. The Bachman guy, again, this Bachman, maybe I should look him up. I have no idea who this is. The Bachman guy said that Licht and the Clover Prince killed the Time Demon. What? Then the Time Demon... Wait. And then the Demon Skull could be... Whoa. That's wacky. It's just not factually true. That skull is Licht's skull in demon form. So, yeah. I don't agree with that one at all. Maybe I shouldn't check out this guy. I don't know. Maybe it's just one bad take. Is he on Twitter? Should we look him up right now? Is it Bachman? If you were molded up, you're getting murked. Yep, exactly. That's it. Chris. Chris, I'm surprised you're here. I think we're in like the same time zone, and I think you have the night shift, so like you're like the midnight type. But I'm glad you're here. What if the fourth sibling is the king of the Diamond Kingdom's brother? That would be pretty interesting, actually. Besides Morris, what reason did the Zagratis have the conflict with the Diamond Kingdom? True. Very true. And that was a very subtle drop in Xenon's backstory. Was just like, the Diamond... Well, I mean, I guess it also doesn't come out of left field, though. Because that's what the Diamond does. They have been on a quest for expansion for a while due to lack of resources. But to go to the Spade, where it's a barren tundra, I don't see why they would have conflict. So maybe you're onto something, Chris. Yeah, who knows? A brother of the Diamond King. That would be really interesting. But then why would Morris be spared? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff happening here. So we'll see. What's going on? Do I pronounce this Joel? I'm assuming that X should be an O. Shelly, you saw my Owen theory, John? I believe so. John is friends with a lot of people on Twitter. That is facts. Hey, okay, so King DJ, welcome. You have a question. I know Tabata said he wants Black Clover to hit the 1,000 chapter mark. This whole thing seems like the end game. How can BC go on longer? Oh, King DJ, I'll tell you right now. And it starts with Belphegor. So I always thought for myself that it would hit much harder if Lucifero was in fact an imposter devil, posing as Lucifero, which Belphegor does still fit that, that thought. And I would always just say, imagine that they find out towards the end of the battle that this guy that they've been struggling against the whole time is not even close to the real deal. We're talking Belphegor would be the fourth seal. Yeah, since they combined the first two clips. So it would be the fourth seal smack dab in the middle. So that would leave us with 1, 2, 3. We had 3. So 4, 5. So above that, what's 10 minus 5? Well, 11 minus 5 is 6. So 6 more devils. that would scale above what we're seeing right now. And this would still only be 50% manifested Lucifero imposter. So, like, how scary would that be to be, like, the real Lucifer that we wanted revenge against? It doesn't, like, he stacks up much higher than this guy, like, galaxies higher than what we're experiencing right now. Would be dope. But right now, I am really liking the idea that this Lucifer is actually Lucifugro Focal. And this has to do with the third eye that Lucifer has. This is not a typical third eye like you see with Nama and Lilith fused, as well as with Megicula. So the reason why I say Lucifugro Focal is because Lucifuge is in the realm of the Satariel, where in the cult lore is the realm in which one's third eye begins to open. And they start seeing the negative light of Lucifer. So I don't think that third eye is actually, like, fully open, if you will. It's very small, and I think that could be the case. Another thing I've been kind of playing with is that in the lore of Lucifer, in his fall, he does have a jewel that falls from his crown. Now, they don't really go on to say that it is like a physical crown, but I mean, you can kind of assume so. But it does say that a jewel fell from his crown, and I do talk about this in several videos, because that jewel ends up becoming the first Philosopher's Stone, as well as the Holy Grail that Jesus drinks from. So it's a very special thing to have. So maybe it's a place where that jewel should have gone, like directly inside of his head, just like we see saw with Fuegolian before he got his jacked, and Mars. So I guess we'll see soon. Let me keep going. Shelly, yeah, I hope Black Clover goes on for a long time. There's so much lore, too much lore to ignore. I gotta get to these notifications, so maybe I'll read like 2 more comments, 3, and then we'll see what these noties are about. So let's see. Isn't it part of God's contract with humans? He has to save them from devils if they pray or fight evil. John, you're gonna have to wait, bud, because that's gonna be in that video, the big one, and let's just say, no, we're not gonna say anything. I've got to completely ignore your comment, but I've got to say you're right and you're also wrong. So yeah, I got to leave it there. Sorry. Chris, you don't think it's time for Angels just yet? Yeah, I think more things need to develop, but with a Drumalak on the field, I think the timing could be just about right. This is the time. What's your thoughts on the spoilers? I think they were cool. I mean, there's a video I posted last night where I just kind of had to get some stuff off my chest because, just hit that fork in the road that Xenon had to hit. Does he sacrifice a friend to save, the rest of the squad, or does he sacrifice himself, or maybe something else? This was the exact question Xenon asked him. Is like, what made your choices better than mine? Why are we different? And says, I don't know. But now is going to know right after this decision is made. So we'll see. Does it run in the family as far as Spade people go? Who knows? Do we think any of the devils could be saved and therefore receive? Absolutely. I think Liabe at the end of this arc will be redeemed or purified in a sense. I have had the headcanon that the devil binding ritual, the way Nocti uses it with relics at least, is serving the point to purify the devil that is contracted with that relic to some point. Because Noct is actually the first character to actually really dive into neo-pagan lore. And that's exactly what they do. They pick a familiar, and it's usually a corrupted familiar, and they use their power until they are completely purified, and they release them again. And I think that's something we can look forward to, at least with Nox Devils. But with the other rituals, I do believe that not only are the humans' lives on the line, but they trade places with the devil they contracted with, ultimately. So that devil becomes human, but loses the power that they had, while the human gains all the power from that devil in order to keep balance. So, like, let's just say, for all intents and purposes, Lucifer, or Lucifero, contracts with, Dante successfully, and without the Advent. At some point in time, Dante goes down to hell, where he rules wherever Lucifero ruled, and he acquires the powers over gravity, in quotes, because it's not gravity. And Lucifero comes up to the world of the living with whatever previous power he might have had, or taking over Dante's power with body magic. So it's a give and take. While Dante does acquire all the power that he wants, he's trapped in hell, while Lucifer is jailbroken, but is significantly less powerful. So it's kind of a fair trade. The Clover Kingdom rooting for Asta to defeat demons, devils. Their faith is within Asta and not the gods, so angels don't feel like coming out. I will argue that the angel is right there. He's right there. Because Lucifero in these leaks tells Asta that he is the most dangerous one on the field, but the easiest one to kill. And I think that meant a lot. But again, those are unofficial translations, so that could be entirely wrong. Alright, Kino. See you in a bit. Alright. I'm getting to the bottom of these. So, then there's, the Chosen One, the whole Spade Nation that knew and awaited his return more than the gods. Angels are watching and waiting more than anything else. I think the Spade has been up to something. I think is a spiritual hybrid of both angels and devils. Just, kind of like our guy, Lucifer and Beelzebub. So we'll see. We'll see. Fourth sibling being Virgil would be kind of cool, to be honest. But I think he's a little too menacing to be Virgil, because I'm assuming you're saying Virgil in the sense that you're referring to Dante's Inferno, where Virgil is a knowledgeable guide who has no stake in anything except for leading Dante through that mess. So I would just disagree in that sense, but I do think it would be really cool to include Virgil in a Dante May Cry or Devil May Cry sort of thing, if you guys have played that game, where Virgil is like he's kind of messed up. So in that sense, that would be really cool. And mix it with the Dante's Inferno thing would be extra dope. John, kind of a Nephilim. Hyperborean, if I want to be really specific. But I do want to see what's going on here, because I'm getting a lot of notifications. John, yeah, I am doing a live, John. Feel free to hop in. Let's see. Is that someone in the chat right now? King 66866. If you are in the chat, let me know. I'll follow you back. I usually follow back once I get like interactions and I remember you. So we'll see. Jan, and I gotta remember this. Oh, she was asking if there's like a mythologies course she can take in college. You absolutely can, and I recommend it highly. I stand the one who is correct, and that is Narumi. All right, Quan. What is Quan up to? Should we troll Quan really quick? We've been writing hateful speech notes to J Cloud. I think it's about time for Quan, like a midstream slander. Let's see. What can we do? What's he been posting about? Let's see. He talks about things like One Piece and Fairy Tail, and I was watching their Josuke's live, and man, he's talking about sports, manga, and anime. I think those are all garbage. All garbage. I don't know how people watch it, or it just seems so boring to me. I also don't really watch sports in real life, so that could be a thing. Yeah, see, all right, see, again, I really try to, like, go through the bigger accounts, and they don't even post Black Clover stuff, man. What do we tell Quan? Come on, we gotta write him something. Mid-credible, yes, troll Quan. Fred thinks the Thor siblings dead. He probably is. He was already sick. Oh, Chris, yeah, you do. You need to read the newest kaiju. You got to leave the stream right now and read it. That's what you got to do. All right, at Quan Credible. Someone give me an opening line. Give me a banger. That Fuego post was mid. No, I agree. I agree that Fuego is mid. I think he's gonna have like a really cool showing out like very soon, but I'm not gonna change up my stance because he does something cool. That's for sure. No one wants to give me a banger for. All right, if I have to improv, I will. Let's see. Look here, you 5'3" to 6'2". In the kneecap having ass. Okay, I got it started. What else do I say? I don't know what to say to Quan. I feel like he gets so much slander. It's hard to be unique. You ain't nothing. I can't put the G on the end of nothing. It's got to be like that, because then it really adds to like the atmosphere, right? You ain't nothing but a rain dodging scoundrel. And something about lions. I agree. I gotta add lions in there. You ain't nothing but a rain dodging scoundrel. Who couldn't beat a let's see, a 3-year-old lion with spoons for feet, a slight case of mange, and I gotta add the Oxford comma. Always do that. Don't be ignorant. Oh, don't do that comma though. Slight case of mange and served less prison time than you. I think that kind of embodies like Quan, like the rain dodging between 5'3" and 6'2", the whole lion thing, and the prison time. That's all Quan is, essentially, as a person. Like, that's all him. So, just one more time. Look here, you 5'3", 6'2", in the kneecap having ass. You ain't nothing but a rain-dodging scoundrel who couldn't beat a 3-year-old lion with spoons for feet, a slight case of mange, and served less prison time than you. Have the sort of day you deserve, sir. Do I put a GIF on it? I'll put a GIF on it. Yeah, let's put good day. Good day. Which one? No, these are all too cheery. What is this? I'll put good day, sir. I'll do the Willy Wonka GIF right there. Good day, sir. There you go. Is that too angry? I feel like I should be more like Chill. Well, I bid you... Yeah. No, because then he doesn't care enough. Like, I made a point. This is the one. That's the one. Yep. I feel good about that. I feel really good. Sick. We trolled Quan. Got him. Got him. All right. Yeah, dude, I'm such a grammar freak. I don't know. It's just I hate bad grammar. That's for sure. Okay. Wait, John. Whoa. Nozel loving traitor? What's wrong with loving Nozel? Nozel's literally like the best captain like out there, aside from Yami. But we don't count Yami because Yami is like obviously the next Wizard King, but he just doesn't want to be. So it's cool. Come back, Chris, because I'm down to talk to you about Kaiju number 8. All right, troll done. You think someone will die next chapter? Maybe. So I think what's happening. Oh, another one. If you're in the stream, let me know and I'll follow you back. I just need to know that you're active. Oh, did I press home? Do people post hentai on Thursday nights? I don't usually see it. It's a risk. Let's see. Oh God. All right, cool. So do I think someone's gonna die? I hope so. I don't think it's absolutely necessary that it's gonna happen though. So I was thinking, I gave in the last video a few options of what could happen. He could obviously teleport Asta or Yami, or maybe not Asta, because they did say that his anti-magic is kind of getting in the way. But at least teleporting Yami, maybe Noct. I think Noct is the best choice just because he's already on a suicide mission. And then I did put out Mimosa because there should still be a star over her, because that's where they were when she was healing Asta, and she's got no other way to bypass the gravity. So it could still very well be over her. And being a practical being that he is has to acknowledge that he needs Asta in the fight, which he did acknowledge that Yami's a threat with William's sword. So putting them in the direct line of danger with a 100% chance of death wouldn't be the smartest thing. Putting him there after he already realized that his sword is not going to break through Lucifero's skin wouldn't be smart. It would be a wasteful move and just kind of a stupid suicide mission, but could lead to an opening later for either Yami or Asta to take advantage of. I don't see him doing that though. So then that's why I have Mimosa up there, because Noct is also very useful. So with Mimosa out of magic, can't heal anyone right now. I think it kind of hits all buttons where that is a character death that means something to Asta and his own squad. And how would they look at him knowing that he had abandoned and, well, not really abandoned, but put one of his comrades on a chopping block intentionally to defeat a bigger threat? Some could view him as a hero that did something that was absolutely necessary and not necessarily good. And others could view him very negatively, thus taking him out of the running of the next Wizard King. But then again, we do have to go back to like that talk they had with Julius, right? Where he says that Wizard Kings are chosen based off of merit. People don't really look at the things you've done, all the good things or anything like that. They don't discern between good and bad. They just want results. And doing that would provide a big result, which would open up Lucifero for an onslaught of arcane attacks. So it would be cool if someone did die, is all I'm going to say. And it would be cool if it was Mimosa. And then it would satiate the fans, most of the fandom, that for some reason hate the fact that Mimosa's a healer. Like, just became a healer, I guess. And not that she was a healer this entire time. I don't know. So, yeah, that's kind of what I think. Ifo, your god, who are you in this? You are Cloud God? I'm assuming you're Cloud God. So, there you go. There we go. Kino, you're cool with Yami dying. Not gonna lie, even if it's a fan favorite character. I mean, I've wanted Yami to die, and now that he's back in action, I don't want him to die. It's like I've said before, him dying in the heat of battle just doesn't appeal to me at all. You know, it should be maybe like after a battle and he's been fatally wounded and can't be healed for whatever reason. For me. So right now, I think he just needs to be here. And it wouldn't really make sense for Yami to be up on the chopping block because he literally just got up. And I don't know if that's a good look on Tabata's part. Liv always most in something borderline Sentai. Who's Liv? Mimosa death would be crazy. And that's attacking like a very pure bloodline that stems directly from the first Wizard King, and that affects Noel, that affects the Vermilions. So he would be getting on a lot of people's bad sides by doing that, and he'd be looking like William 2.0, which is essentially what he wants to be for some reason. Whatever. I am thinking that Yuno will sacrifice himself to save Asta. I don't know if he has to sacrifice himself. Asta's out of harm's way right now, at least. Like, very slightly. I believe it would reveal that Yuno is possessed by the Time Demon and send Lucifer into the past. Interesting thought. I think there's a better chance for Yuno to be possessed by Beelzebub right now than any other devil, but we also haven't seen the Time Devil, so maybe that's unfair of me to say. But we did see, time stop with Yuno in the dungeon, and we just don't know if that was with, if that was Belle's thing or if it was Yuno. That has yet to be explained, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Kino, are you asking me if I think Mimosa dying due to Yuno is going to break Austin Yuno's relationship? If that is what it is, then yeah, I think it would definitely strain it a lot. Because I think it's just important for people to realize, Yuno just found out he has not been 100% Yuno this entire time. He's been kind of... Because this is the point to Yuno's story and kind of Xenon's story as well. Yuno, when he was young, was a crybaby. He wasn't a fighter like Asta was. He didn't have a clear set vision for what he wanted to do. Then, as soon as Asta says he does something inspirational by defending Yuno, and Asta keeps that, big old Asta smile on his face while he's all busted up and says, "I'm going to be the next Wizard King," and Yuno says, "Me too." He kind of has this, deer in the headlights look like, whoa, like, purpose. What is purpose? Like, I don't have one for myself currently, but he does, so I'm just going to copy him. So it's kind of been Asta's will, and maybe even more so the other spirit that's been inside of him. So now recognizing more of his origin and the fact that he has been using this other thing's power and not his own might make him realize, well, there might be more depths to who I am than what I think. And that could not necessarily have to be a good thing. It could be a great thing, but it can also be a really bad thing for some cases, So there's just a lot to really consider. Liv being Oliva. The one who... Oh, Olivia, yeah. What else? Tashawn, gotta go. Everyone say thank you for tuning in, Tashawn. Hope to see you in the next one. Or Asa to be possessed by the Time Demon? I don't think so. I don't think the Time Devil is involved right now at all. Personally. But that could be wrong. Very sure. Deer, coincidence? His multiverse counterpart basically became an elk. What are you talking about? Where did the deer come from? The deer in the headlights. Yeah, okay, whatever. WK. Did you post anything, WK? Well, so I can slander you in real time. All right. Let's see what's on the TL. Let's just peruse the TL, and let's just cross our fingers that in these 25 most recent things, there's zero nudity. Deku. Man, I just asked for you guys not to put ass cheeks on the TL, and here it is, right here. I'm just kidding, I'm playing. I do like my hero. It's just kind of falling off right now, that's all. Oh my god. Oh my god. See, that's why I can't get on the top. Who is... That's Semi. Fucking Semi, dude. What are you guys saying in the chat? Don't say hi to WK. What are you guys doing? You think I can scroll past this like really fast? Like, is my computer lagging? I hope it's lagging. Okay. No, it's gonna show. How do I I'm literally like covering the screen with my hand like it's gonna help. Maybe if I do it like really, really fast. Fuck. What do I do? God damn it, dude. I'll just do it like... Oh, yes. Okay. Alright. Never thought I'd say it, but thank God for lag. Dude, Semi was wild, and what was that about? Okay. I got some battle rap stuff on here too, so just ignore that stuff. Nah. Semi doesn't really post all that. Like, that was literally the first thing I saw of Semi's, aside from, like, him tagging me in something the other day. Just trying to catch up. Like, that's the first time I've seen Semi on the TL. Yes, it's Halberd. Were people calling this an axe? I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, halberd, axe. They both have very similar features. I mean, a pigeon has wings and so does an eagle, and they're both birds. They're just different types of birds. Like, let's keep it a bunch. Yeah, Semi is savage. Is there any evidence that devils can reproduce with humans? No, there's not. So what they can do is create a body. In strictly lore, they can create a body, but what they cannot do is give it the sparks of life. So, trigger warning, I guess. But when they talk about this specific thing, creation, the devils had ended up making Adam and Eve, but they had no spark of life, so they were just bodies laying on the ground. And some of the devils took it upon themselves to take advantage of Eve sexually, and nothing happened through that. And they thought that would be able to produce some type of being, but it didn't, because they don't have that capability. Creation was strictly taken away from them by God himself. So yeah. Semi was on last week talking to Josuke. Oh, was he? I don't think I caught that stream. Wait, you have evidence against what? The Elden... I still don't know what Elden Ring is. Is that based off, like, Lord of the Rings? That's a cool picture. Which super team was a bigger failure? I don't know who these people are. Oh, it's basketball. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch sports. Man, what do I see? Jameson. Now, I got some information about Jameson for you guys. It doesn't have to be St. Patrick's Day for this. Just kidding. Don't drink, kids. Drinking is bad. Jam's unnatural obsession with Jack is crazy. All right. What are you guys saying? Actually, I have evidence. Triggered. Adam, I thought, had sex with Lilith. Okay, so I'm talking about before Adam even got life, the spark of life within him. Like, they were literally laying on the ground. But yes, Lilith and Adam were together. But that is not the Adam that you're thinking. That is Adam Cadmon. The Adam that did that is Adam Belial. Very, very different. I know it's a video game, but is it? Dude, this is, see, someone ban WK right now. I can't stand this guy. Yes, I know it's a video game, but is it based on Lord of the Rings or something? Oh, Chris, you're back. Yes, the chapter was fun read. And the last spread, yeah, the last spread was dope. Esau number 9 just sitting there with the cocoons around him. Crazy. Jameson is a gentleman's drink. I hate when people mix it because you're ruining the Irish whiskey at that point. Elden Ring is a new game in Dark... I don't even know what Dark Souls is. So I'm just completely out of the loop. Let's see. Oh, Mick's talking about something right now. Okay. So he retweeted himself. I wonder the things that he could do with modification magic and world tree magic. Yeah. That's legit. I'm very disappointed that Lotus was only shown to get his arm blown off. And that was it. And we never saw... Lotus could have done so many cool things, man. And, oh, man. WK's here already, and he can tell you the pain that I went through trying to get that Jack Clover going. Actually, do you guys want to see that? Let's see it. Because, man, this is... it's cringy. It's cringe. But I'll try to see if I can find it on here. It should be Diamonds in the Rough or something like that. In the Rough. Okay. You guys won't be able to hear this, I don't think. I'll put on my sound just to... so you guys can get the full effect of what I had done here. But I don't think you guys will hear it. But all you need to do is see it. You guys won't be able to hear this. Let's see. I don't think. I'll put on my sound. I'm gonna give it just a little bit of weight because I'm listening with you guys right now. So you guys can get the full effect of what I had done here. But let's see. But all you need to do is see this. Won't be able to hear this. Let's see. Okay, hold on. It should be coming up. I got like a 5-second lag. I'm going to give it just a little bit of weight because I'm listening with you guys right now. I don't see anything on the screen. Okay. Probably because it's not in the actual window. Damn. Alright. Well, I kind of tried. Damn. Because I want to show you guys. It was such a big... Oh, no, you guys can see it right now. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me pull up the... I'll just put it up like this, because you guys can see that. Okay, so I called this one Diamonds in the Rough, because who were we missing this entire arc so far? It was Ladros, Mars, and Lotus. Like, those were the big 3 that I was missing so far. Not to mention the the Witch Queen, but that's not what this is about. So the whole point of this was to introduce them in a cool way, and this was just before, or right as Morris is revealing that he's a devil. So I'll read it to you guys because I tried to make it so that I could bypass the fact that it wasn't in the manga format that I originally wanted it in. But yeah. So, as battles across the Spade Castle rage on, Morris continues to deepen his connection to the underworld. He is ambushed by Dorothy Unsworth, captain of the Coral Peacocks. Lotus sees this as the perfect opportunity to ambush the demon scientist. So meanwhile, two characters make their way through the chaos and are en route to... sorry, I totally messed myself up there. En route to put a stop to Morris once and for all. And obviously it's going to be the other two. And like I said, this is really cringe, you guys. I'm glad you can't hear it, to be honest. Oh, fuck. It's actually visually cringe, too. I forgot. So, oh, God. Oh, my God. Okay. So, yeah, fire. Not the wave. Not the wave. So, I tried adding dialogue. I was like, okay, I got to make it somewhat appealing. And so I took, like, a part of the episode, put a little speech box next to it, and put my own speech in there. Oh my God, this is actually embarrassing. So it just says, be on your guard. This is the heart of the Advent. Then you're going to have Ladros coming up right now. He says, speak of the devils, 3 disciples, and it looks like they've lost control of that power. So I wanted to introduce a new concept of, like, disciples coming in, and them, if they lose control, they become more demonic, kind of like Rage State Asta. And they're more powerful in that way. But here Ladros is, what do you say, Mars? You up for a little fun? And it should be going now. Yeah. So and this is the actual footage from the fucking anime. Oh God, it's so awful. But he says there's no reason for the weak to stand on the battlefield. And I was born to break people like you. So he's talking to the Spade disciples. And he goes for Formation J. I wanted some kind of official formation. So Ladros is saying, keep up, devil wannabes. And they have a combination magic called Prison of Adonis. So Adonis is just Latin for diamond. So diamond prison is what they're going for next, and this is the result that I got from this person on Fiverr. Now, it's kind of cool, but it's very hard to make out what's happening. You have Ladros in the very middle, just like throwing out laser beams. Now, the point of the clones here that Mars makes was so that they bounce off, the lasers bounce off of them while they also attack the disciples. And that's how they kind of kill them and trap them in this laser cage, or this diamond prison. So, yeah, that was the picture. Wildly unimpressive. Very hard to make out. Hopefully that person's not watching this. I doubt they would. Okay, I've zoomed in enough. 12 seconds left. The cringe is almost over. Let me just read this. So, Mars and Ladros effortlessly launched their combination magic Prison of Adonis, the very spell that made them infamous on the battlefield. A deadly magic spell that combines the untamable nature of Ladros' magic and the extremely refined nature of Mars' magic. The Talos puppet clusters scatter across the battlefield surrounding the enemies, while Ladros wildly shoots lasers to his heart's content. This traps the... oh my God, I can't even see this. The disciples in a diamond sarcophagus of light and death. And then there's a couple more. So, this is my favorite part. Oh, do I have to do more reading? Okay, really fast. Mars and Ladros press forward. As they enter the center of the castle, they're greeted by a chaotic scene of Lotus losing a lot of blood from a critical injury. His arm has been blown away, and Dorothy is no longer able to keep up. The two witness Morris create an abhorrent creature made up of various dismembered devil parts. Just as the creature made its move on Lotus, the Black Bulls crash into the room, saving Lotus in the nick of time. Morris then sensed two familiar presences. And it was Ladros and Mars, of course. Oh, that was the unfinished product, no way. Jesus. Is this it? Well, let's look at it. Oh, no. It was much longer than that? Okay, so here's the other picture. So essentially what happens in between here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Trust me. But this was the central focus I wanted. Since we saw Morris create, those devils from dismembered parts, right? I wanted him to utilize Lotus in a way that shows off his own maniacal, like, scientific vibes, combined with, like, devil vibes. So what he does is modify not only Lotus's body with a demonic arm, but it supplies him with devil mana as well. But he also modifies Lotus's sense of camaraderie with Lotus and Ladros, where he no longer sees them as comrades, but he sees them as enemies. So now Lotus has been manipulated to fight Ladros and Mars for him, because Morris is more focused on the Black Bulls at this moment in time. Now, I think I actually have just one last one. It's not even in here. Okay, whatever. This is trash. The whole thing is trash. There was one more picture, and that picture was of 4 miniature ancient demons, and those ancient demons ended up being his family. One of them being his wife, and the other 3 being his daughters. So I had a version where Lotus's feelings and thoughts were not modified by Lotus at all, but he was being manipulated in the fact that Morris had turned Lotus's family into things, into weapons, essentially, demonic weapons, and the only way that he would get them back is if he fought for Morris. So that was what the reveal was supposed to be, and I think the vision was there, but the execution was just fucking awful, like so awful. But yeah, just my little bit of cringe. Let me just catch up on the chat real quick. The shade I threw at that Fiverr artist? Yeah, it is real. An upgraded Nozel spell? Yes, pretty much. Yeah, the whole story laid out super dope. Artist screwed him like 4 times. Yeah, dude, the whole thing with the artist was so dumb. Like, I was legit waiting for one artist for about 3 months. And they would swear up and down they had started, but they didn't get started on anything. Then I switched over, and it was a much heftier price, and I was just like, just give me 3 pictures, dog. And that's what I got, and it just wasn't that good. So we'll see. I'm trying to work with someone else right now to see if I can get the Jack Clover up and running officially, but I doubt it's going to happen anytime soon. Nozel got lucky against Dark Elf Patri? What? Oh, no. John, stop it. No, there's no luck in that fight at all. Mercury is reflective. Who did someone say it's not reflective? John, Mercury, come on, John. Shelley, I think Mars was sent into the underworld and became a demon. I think it foreshadows that Hannah will become the demon's. Wait, who's Hannah? I'm so confused right now. And the salamander because she's magicalist? Hannah, is that one of the kids? I don't remember. But yeah, I don't remember who Hannah is. Anyway, I was looking at Mick and I got sidetracked. So what if it's not a devil that takes over William's body, but it's Morris? Morris might be able to remove William's curse with his modification magic. I already know how crazy it sounds, but he linked himself to the ritual, so I don't know the full extent of what he's capable of doing. I don't think he would have to remove William's curse. We don't really know what William's curse entails. As far as we know, it's just a physical affliction that shows that he has some type of curse, but what that curse is widely unknown. So I don't know if that's Fauna. Foreshadows that Fauna will become the demon's host. That'd be interesting, actually. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. Let's see, what else is on the timeline? As long as Semi's not posting, we should be safe from more ass on the TL, you know? What is that? That looks crazy. Grand Magic Games? Wow. Looks cool, but all these other characters don't look cool. What is this? Oh, it's Fairy Tail. No thanks. Is Fauna magicless? Oh, did you say Fauna's magicless? Because she's not. Yeah, she's still got magic, for sure. Another Mick one. All right, he's on it today. This is a retweet back from what he posted in 2021 in October. So what does he say originally? Crazy headcanon is Asta has Alan's... Oh, he talked about this in the last stream. So yeah. Well, wait, I don't think he went this far. So Asta has Alan's soul, and since the magic attribute of an individual might be linked to the soul, he'd have the magic of Alan, fire, a magic attribute that would have been perfect to synergize with Yuno and Sister Being. Yeah, that makes sense. Because wind and fire, yep, makes sense. Naruto fans would hate us, but yeah, makes sense. LeBron, I don't know. Oh, as soon as I see Toby Rama and Racist and Will all in one place, I know it's a banger. All right. So Toby Rama hate is so forced. He's one of the best Hokage and Jutsu creator of all time. Before I weigh in, let me see what Cozy says. He's a racist. His jutsu single-handedly had an emo nerd waging war with 5 nations. He's not even the best at any jutsu he made. He got offed by 20 random ninja. His biggest ops got smoked by Darui, and he's just lame and Caucasian. He's albino, yeah, for sure. While I kind of agree with Cozy, I also agree with the original post. He actually was one of the better Hokage. Am I saying what he did was totally right? No. But unlike the other Hokage, he kept his feelings out of everything, and so it comes off as cruel and callous. And he does openly admit that, like, he's more concerned about the Sharingan itself as eyeballs more so than the Uchiha, because he thinks that the Sharingan develops that or manifests hatred more so than it just naturally developing within the Uchiha. And people just don't remember, like, for some reason, that one of his close not comrades, but students was an Uchiha himself. So I don't know. I think people just like to call him racist all the time, because it's funny, because it's kind of what he was. But I think he was up there. Oh, John, you weighed in on this. What did you say? You forgot that he left the village in the hands of an underexperienced person because of clan power. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he was definitely fathered into that. That's a very good point. But to be fair, Hiruzen he's also very smart, and he had a good heart. So leaving on a whim, leaving the village to Hiruzen at that point was the best decision that he could have made, because he was going into a battle where he was going to die. And the only people there was Danzo, who was a coward, still is a coward, Hiruzen, and then Kagami Uchiha. But leaving, even though Kagami is someone he trusted, if you put an Uchiha in the seat of power, then it would lead to some type of corruption later on. So it was just not a risk that he could take at that moment. And then there was a couple of randos there, and they were random for a reason, so no one cares. What animes are these? These are MHA, that's Demon Slayer. Who are these guys? I don't care. I don't know why I asked. So, yeah, John, he got off by 2 people who ate part of the cube, for sure. But it was also 2 full squads of S-rank ninja. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, they battled it out for about a week, like straight, before he actually died. So we're talking like beyond S-rank. the Gold and Silver brothers, along with the Gold and Silver forces that they had essentially stolen and taken away from the Cloud Village to subdue these tailed beasts and other threats. So like he didn't go down like a chump, that's for sure. I wish they showed that actually, because that would have been really cool. Yeah, Fauna and Mars should have the same magic as far as the fire goes. Yeah. Actually, it'd be kind of cool to see them in tandem, because he actually has a very physical part of her grimoire. So I do wonder how that looks. Let's see. Later, WK. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Toby Ram is a goat. Yeah, I agree. And you know, not to... So Cozy was saying, like, people did his jutsu better than him, which is definitely true. But at the time, he was definitely a genius. Like, more than a genius. He was just making jutsu back to back. Yeah. He was definitely dope. Later, John, thank you for coming in. I'm probably going to end it soon because this is heading towards 2 hours again. But you guys tell me, whose account should I go to before we end this? Because I don't know who. And we got to leave them a message. We got to slander them. So it's got to be a good account. Let's see. Ronan, I don't know. No. Oh my gosh. There was nudity there and I stopped. Why? Alright, well, YouTube didn't see it. YouTube, you didn't see any. Oh, dude, come on. Maybe I should stop scrolling. Whose account? Guys, I need something. Who's in here? Who's giving me noties? Mick is. Roku, Chris. Let's see. Anyone. I mean, we could end this on JCloud again, but I mean, he's been getting a lot of slander from us, so maybe it's time to give him a break. What's my thoughts on Seki being angelic? Not in this pantheon. I think he might be divine, for sure. So I couldn't find the post. I made this post like a year ago now. And all it was just a picture of Seke's grimoire and a symbol. And no one caught on to what it was. And I was surprised, like, not even Boku did, actually. But let's look at Seke's grimoire really quick. Let's search it up. Seke Bronzaza. There we go. See, I search them all the time. Grimoire. Okay. I just want you guys to look at the design so you can see what I'm talking about. So here's the design. All right. Now, we're going to look up another thing. Let's see. Thor Symbols. Let's see what we get. Oh, would you look at there? So, we have this. And we go back to the grimoire. And you have that, and it's kind of inverted. There's a little extra parts there. But, let's take a really quick, like, character dive on Seke. Really quick. Am I saying that Seke is Thor? Not necessarily. But these are pretty similar designs, and we have to take into account who these people really are. Seke is definitely, by no means, an untalented mage. And I know that might sound unpopular, but it is actually true. In the very beginning of the series, he showed us that he was wildly capable of being a creation magic artist. He showed us his... he came up with the attack and defense strategy before Longreese did, which is very smart. And not many mages have done that afterwards. I don't think any have, actually. up until Longreese did what he did. And then, right here, we have the Hex Lizard. Now, he's the only one who's ever pulled off a hex in this series. And hexes are also attributed to Thor. Now, he's shown all these different types of magic. Magic control, magic creation, hex magic, and his own magic applied in a way where he cannot get hurt, but he can attack. All in one chapter. And people still discount him as being someone who would never be capable. What I think actually happened is that Asta completely crushed his will to become stronger. And that's why I kind of liked when Tabata shifted the narrative to Seke's vantage point. Because Seke is an interesting case. He's talented, very talented, but he was stifled by one loss. And that's all it took. So if anything wasn't there, it was his mindset that was not there. But yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying. Either I had a thread of messages on YouTube video or on Twitter about my thoughts on Seke being at least arcane. Forgotten wrong. I think he might even fall under arcane, probably, because his bronze doesn't come off as a metal. So I'm wondering if his magic is actually misclassified, because putting hexes in bronze is kind of odd, when bronze should normally look like something like Klaus's magic, but bronze, of course. Shelly, I'm thinking he will get the Earth Spirit Gnome because Seke's raw magic is related to the Earth. You guys want one more spoiler before I go? It's about the Earth Spirit, actually, and the last video that I put out. This is Quan in response to our slanderous message. I've done nothing to anyone all day. Oh man, love Quan, love Quan. So as far as the Earth Spirit goes, so I had made that video talking about Asta being Metatron and Liebe being Sandalphone in this video. And Sandalphone is an angel who is regarded as the Prince of Earth and as the Guardian of Earth. Now, Sandalphone and Metatron both have a specific relationship with what is called the Shekinah. And the Shekinah is the bride of God, and God in this sense is equated to Metatron and somewhat Sandalphone. So when there's a big scramble to keep the Shekinah in heaven or to hide her in hell. So demons and angels are always scrambling to make sure that she stays in their possession. Now, usually angels keep her there, but at some point she ends up getting stolen in some sources by Lilith, which is kind of confusing because the Shekinah is a higher aspect of Lilith herself. But, you know, it's weird. These beings are able to create offshoots of themselves. So that's kind of how it is. So we know that the lower Lilith fell already. And somehow Lilith was able to gain control of the Shekinah and hide her in the Sitariel with Lucifugral Focal. So when that happens, when the Shekinah falls, Sandalphone also falls. Now we have to realize that Sandalphone is the guardian of the realm of Malkuth, which is the very bottom of the Tree of Life, that overlaps with the bottom of, or the top of the Qliphoth, where Nama rules. And so an angel that falls from there would just fall where Nama and where just Nama resides. So what I was thinking is that Liebe kind of doubles up as an angel and as a spirit, and I don't want it to be like, oh, why does Liebe get all these things? We do have to realize that there's a potential that Liebe could be the son of Licht who did eventually, or who did die, initially. And if that is the case, then he would be hybrid, and it's very possible that he would hold two positions like that, because remember, they are specifically supposed to be the bridges between these two races that would ultimately bring them together. Now, I had just made a video talking about the origin of spirits, who were heroes of the past, and then talking briefly somewhat about Tetia being a sylph, Belle specifically. So if that happened, then you could stand to say that Liabe could fall in line with this thought. But it's still a very shaky theory. But I do think he could hold either one or both positions. However, with anti-magic, it definitely does fit Sandalphone's, MO. But we'll see. I do think he doubles up as both the Earth Spirit and as an angel. What are you guys saying? Maybe they are part dwarf? I don't think so. I hope they aren't, man. I need... Because why I say that is just because Charmy, when she's squaring up with Rill's elf counterpart, I think it's Lyra. Lyra verbalizes that in a way where he recognizes that she's a hybrid of a human and a dwarf, and he says it in a way that that dwarves would predate elves, and because I believe he says the word ancient, an ancient race of dwarves. So I don't think so, but it is possible. Like I said, nothing is really impossible in this. Chris, I just reminded you of a few concepts of Metatron that loosely parallel Lucida. Yeah, there's actually a lot that involves Lucida. It's actually going to be part of that video, that big one I'm talking about, that'll come out on Tuesday. But you're going to need to do slight research and thread it later. Yeah, bro. Do it. There's actually a lot that potentially involves Lucida. I mean, it almost describes exactly what she went through verbatim in this series. So, pretty interesting stuff, you guys. It's like I said, it's my favorite theory right now that I've made. But yeah, I haven't got any accounts from you guys to slander on the way out, so I think I'm going to leave it here, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You don't have to, and I know it's late for some of us. So thank you, and I'll probably do this again maybe Sunday. If not, probably Wednesday night when the leaks drop again. Just to get knee-jerk reactions. But other than that, you guys, thank you again.